Hello and welcome to Outshine. This is a typing game where you have to try and destroy enemies before they destroy you, and you're on like a track where you choose different pathways to travel along, and there's going to be a bunch of obstacles in your path. You're obviously going to have to type various words to be able to destroy these and get by them. You do have two abilities available. One is a shield, one is a missile attack, and these obviously have limited uses, so you're going to have to make good use of those as you do through the level. Anyway, if you'd like to check out the game, there is a link in the description, and as you can see, I'm actually number 4 on the leaderboard here. I don't know how many people are on this leaderboard, but that's pretty good. Not too bad, right? I just thought I'd show you my high score, because once I do this level just now, you're not going to see me on there anymore. I'm going to go all the way down because I'm going to be playing on a much lower difficulty. You can see here that my words per minute was actually pretty decent. Not bad, not bad. 101 words per minute. Obviously, there are faster people, but, you know, it all depends on the modifiers, and that's exactly where we're going to get to next. So there is difficulty reduction, so if you personally do not care about score and you just want to experience the game and you just want to have fun, then difficulty reduction is available here. Then there's also difficulty increases, and these are all different modifiers that change fundamentally how the game plays. For example, you have hard reset here. This is a pretty nice one to go for if you don't really think you're going to be that inaccurate. So it just basically resets the current word when you mistype. Pretty good, right? Yeah, and then you also have something that, well, disables your abilities. So you can do that too. And then there's a bunch of other things, like, for example, this is insanity. I'm not entirely sure who would even be able to play with this, but as you can see, death at the first mistype. So first mistake, boom, your character dies instantly. That is amazing. Also this, sudden death, death at the first damage taken. Pretty crazy. There are so many crazy things. And then there's obviously no checkpoint, which basically forces you to restart from the beginning of the level at death. But of course, you don't have to take any of these if you don't want to. You can actually just go ahead and take a special, which is basically one of these special modifiers that allows your avatar to automatically avoid obstacles as much as possible. You have a stable combo one, you have invincibility, so your character is immune to damage, and you also have unlimited usage of your abilities. That obviously doesn't give you any score. It actually forces your score to 0 if these are enabled. So of course we're not going to be doing anything with that, but I'm going to be playing on around medium difficulty. I'm not going to have any of the modifiers on or anything like that, because I just want to go through a level with you. And this is going to be the easiest one, obviously. I'm just going to go through here, and I'm just going to show you what the gameplay is all about. And I have rebound my keys a little bit. Oh my, okay. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit rusty on this as well. It's been a little bit of time since I played, so yeah. Anyway, you can rebind your keys however you want. I'd highly recommend rebinding if you don't really like the way that it is at the moment. And basically how they've done it by default is you move from left to right depending on control or shift. So in other words, left control or right control or left shift or something like that. You can basically just decide on what you want to do in that regard. I don't necessarily like that. I actually rebound my keys to the cursor keys. I much prefer using the cursor keys, but I was thinking of actually changing that to something else. I was actually wanting to change that to number keys, because I actually think that might make more sense, but that's just my own personal opinion. Obviously, if you are a classic typist and you have a classic home row kind of thing going on, where you on the home row, you know the whole official way of touch typing. If you're classically, trained in that regard, then obviously that's going to be the way to go. But for me personally, I'm obviously self-taught in terms of my typing, so I don't adhere to those kinds of things. So that doesn't really help me too much. So that's the reason why I try to make things a little bit more to my liking personally. As you can see, my typing accuracy is not too bad. My typing speed's pretty good, and we took 0 damage, which is actually kind of amazing. Usually I take damage pretty early on in these levels, but I'm very pleasantly surprised. Anyway, let's just continue onward. technically, your words per minute are going to be fundamentally tied to your difficulty, because if you have a high difficulty, you're going to be seeing many more enemies spawning in front of you. And so that's the reason why you probably are going to have much higher words per minute. Like, for example, you saw on my high score before we started this, I had around 100 words per minute. I was playing on the highest difficulty, which indeed the average speed is 100 words per minute. So that is definitely something to take into account. In other words, if you're playing on a lower difficulty, you're inevitably going to have a lower words per minute. Unless you're just generally really fast or something, but generally I don't think so, because you have the same amount of enemies spawning every single time. But you've got to bear in mind as well that words are going to be different. The words are going to be very different here, and you're going to have random spawn locations as well. And later on down the line, you may think, oh, you know, do the enemies change? Are there different enemies? Are you going to have different ways of dealing with them and everything? And yes, you would be correct in assuming that. There are different enemies, and they have different capabilities as well. And they have different ways of eliminating them too. So it's going to be very difficult as time goes on to kind of get a bit more of a handle on these things. And let me tell you, some of the enemies later on in the next biome, because there are actually 4 different biomes that you can play in, and they are all fundamentally different from each other. These enemies I'm talking about, of course. And that's actually kind of amazing, to be honest, because initially I wouldn't have thought, hey, you know what, they're going to come at me with a bunch of really unique opponents. But no, they do. They actually do. And the ones that I'm talking about specifically are these guys that kind of have lasers. They kind of charge up their laser, and if you don't destroy them before their laser goes off, then the laser will just sweep through that particular pathway. And so you have to be either very quick at eliminating them and just not bother moving, or you need to be good at dodging and just get out the way. And that's going to make all the difference to you. Because obviously you want to try and maximize your multiplier. And as you can quite clearly tell in the top left, my multiplier right now is at ×10. It was at ×5 because I actually mistyped 1 second there. But yeah, it is at ×10. It starts at obviously, you know, ×1 as you might expect. And then eventually you'll go all the way up to ×10. And if you make a mistake, it does reduce for a little bit of time until you start getting kills again, of course. So yeah, anyway, it's just all about being accurate, and there are bosses at the end of every single level as well. And these bosses all have different attack patterns. So this is the first boss, as you can see right here, and I'm gonna now have to type while being attacked in the process. So this is going to be kind of interesting. I don't think I'm going to do that badly because it is a low difficulty, but you can imagine how this is going to be if you're literally playing on the highest difficulty. You're going to be attacked almost all the time. It's actually insanity. It is absolutely crazy. So here we go. That's it. Done. Now, that's the funny thing. If you play on the highest difficulty, this boss also takes a lot longer to kill, has a lot more HP, so you're going to have to destroy or indeed type more words. And you can see here, look at my typing accuracy. That's not too bad. I'm actually really pleased about that. Usually, you'd get an achievement for getting 99% or more typing accuracy, but I already have that, so, you know, but that's just something to bear in mind. This game does have achievements. It's actually pretty cool. And otherwise, we have 90 words per minute, which is pretty good considering we were playing on a medium difficulty. But yeah, anyway, what I can now do is I can go back to the levels and we can decide on choosing something else. So we have, yeah, as you can see, I'm now 32 ranked in the prison biome. And apart from that, we have Powerhouse, which is another level here. I am actually 0 on this, apparently. Why am I 0 on this? Okay, apparently I don't have a high score on that one. Oh, maybe they actually... Did they reset the leaderboards? I think they might have reset the leaderboards. Oh, not on this one, though. As you can see, I'm number 8 on this one, but I wasn't really trying to get a high score because I wasn't playing with any modifiers or anything like that. And same thing with this, I was number 16 on this one. And then, as you can see, there is another biome here, which is what I was talking about before. And you can see that there are so many different levels, and you can just replay them as many times as you want, basically. It's very, very fun to play this game. And that's the thing. I don't know whether you know this about me, but I very much enjoy typing games in general. I actually really like them. This developer also came out with a game called Epistory, and the sequel to that, the spiritual sequel to that, which was, what was it called now? Nanotale. And I very much enjoyed both of those games. And I just wished it was a bit more arcade, because obviously those games focused a bit more on story, a bit more on RPG, a bit more on exploration and things like that, and a little bit less on just typing and killing things and destroying enemies and so on. And that's exactly what this game does very, very well. And it feels super, super polished too. Anyway, I think it would probably be a good idea for us to go into the slums. This is going to be a bit different, obviously. It's going to be a bit different because it is a completely different biome. We're going to be, basically pushing everything into high gear because we're going to get so many different enemy types, and hopefully I'm going to be able to defend myself against them. Alright, so this is the first time I'm doing this level, and hopefully it's not going to be terribly hard. It is pretty hard in my opinion, but we're going to see how it goes. As you can see, I'm actually being shot by this particular enemy, and I'm gonna need to try and eliminate him as fast as possible, because otherwise it's just gonna absolutely murder me. So that's something to bear in mind. I'm gonna have a very low accuracy for this one, in my opinion. This is gonna be very, very difficult. So let's see what I can do here. Okay, there we go. Not too bad. These are the laser ones that I was talking about. As you can see, it was just about to charge up. And there's a bunch of other, shall we say, obstacles in the way that you're going to have to deal with too. And I'm just getting absolutely murdered. I'm actually going to use my missiles right there. I'm absolutely overwhelmed right now. Having to commentate and actually do typing at the same time. Very difficult, actually, to concentrate on. Anyway. Here we go. These little checkpoint areas, these are basically giving you the story. They are giving you the story, and they're giving you the background on what is actually going on here. And while the story is certainly not going to be, it's kind of like a nice little bit of background. It's not the main draw to the game, obviously. But it is definitely something that I very much appreciate, because you kind of want to understand and see exactly what's going on, You kind of want to find out what happened here, because apparently there's something that's gone on. There's some kind of problem here, and it's going to be very, very fun to find out exactly what happened. And that's kind of what's going on there. Yeah, anyway, I'm not really making that much sense most of the time now, but I'm trying my hardest to keep focus here. And hopefully I will be able to not get murdered. I actually almost had feedback destroyed there. Just going to destroy all of this. Then we're just going to spam S a little bit there. You need to make sure that you finish off those guys, because otherwise they're just going to continue shooting at you with their missiles. And you can shoot the missiles out of the air as well. That, as I said, that's a much different style of doing things than the first level, as I showed you. The first level is very different from this, as there are only 3 or 2 different enemy types in the first one, but they have literally just gone to 11 with this one. They are going crazy. And bear in mind, I'm playing on medium. I am playing on medium. Can you imagine if I was playing this on a higher difficulty level? I would have to practice quite a bit to actually get something going there. But you can see here, my accuracy is not too bad, but you can imagine how it would be if we were playing on higher difficulty. Wow, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know how to do that, to be honest. I think that would be incredibly, incredibly difficult. But yeah, well, that's for another time. That is for another time. I'm actually going to show you a higher level difficulty after this. because I think that would be quite cool for you to see that, because obviously you've only seen the medium difficulty so far, and you kind of know how, you know, the gameplay is now, so I don't really need to explain too much, but it's going to be really interesting for you to see some of the higher speed kind of difficulty levels, so you get an idea as to how absolute crazy it can get. And yeah, maybe I'm gonna do all right, you know. Maybe I'll try for a high score. Should I try for a high score? Maybe I'll try for a high score or something like that. I'm not entirely sure right now, because I am I am out of practice. I am very much out of practice right here, but maybe I'm gonna be okay. Who knows? Maybe I'm actually gonna do a decent job. I seem to actually have decent accuracy, surprisingly enough, even though I wouldn't have expected it. But apparently I'm doing all right in terms of accuracy. My speed could be a little better, but, you know, that's all practice, as I say. And if you're a fan of these kinds of typing games, because obviously I, way back, used to play on flash game sites like Armor Games and Newgrounds and, you know, all these places. And I would literally just be like, hey, you know what? I love these typing games. I want something like this that is standalone. And this was way back. This was like 15 years ago, right? And so I was playing all those things, and I was just thinking to myself, it would be so amazing to have something standalone. And boom, here you go. Look at that. It's pretty crazy how we have something like that right now, isn't it? Anyway, let me see if I can just make sure I don't get absolutely murdered by the laser. Yeah. I gotta be real careful here. Wow, what is this? What is this word right here? What is this word? I have never heard of this word ever. It's like a mineral or something. Okay, yeah, this is very, very bad. This is very bad for me. All of this is much easier. Excavation. Kill that. Oh no, there's a laser. Gotta be careful. Kill this, kill this, kill this. There we are. Kill all of that. Oh, thank you. Whew. Okay, I have no idea what this word is either. Recyclable. There we go. We know that. There we go. I'm just going to use my missiles just to eliminate the rest. And, oh, here we go. There's a bunch of missiles I got to shoot down. And what do we have here? Oh my, okay. I do not like the lasers. The lasers are the biggest problem that I'm having right now. Oh, wow, that was really harsh. I think that might be the end of it. Yeah, that is the end of the boss. Wow. Whew. But you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This boss is crazy. Whoa. Okay, I didn't even... Wow, I wasn't even expecting to actually survive that. I thought to myself, I'm actually gonna die. I am actually gonna die. But if we go back to our levels here, you can see I'm actually third. What? I'm actually third? Okay, yeah, so you can see this was actually a pretty difficult level. And yeah, you can see exactly why, because there are just so many enemies going on. It's pretty intense. Anyway, we're gonna go over to the prison here, and I'm gonna play on the first level again so that you get an idea as to how it is, because obviously the first level I did, you know, earlier in the episode, we were playing here and we played on the normal difficulty, right? Well, I'm gonna play with no checkpoint enabled. I'm gonna play with I'm kind of thinking disappearance of words and no abilities. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to play with these three. I think I can activate 4 different modifiers. So I'm thinking maybe we want to do something a little bit more than that, but I'm thinking, nah, you know what? Let's just leave it how it is. And I'm going to increase the difficulty to the highest level it can possibly be. So now this is going to be putting everything up to 11, maybe even 12, okay? So this might not even be something that I can even do. This is me just turning it all the way up just so that you get a good idea as to how difficult the game can actually get. So let's start. I'm not going to commentate. I'm going to just concentrate on the typing, and we're going to see how we do. Alright, so there you go. We actually did the level with the highest difficulty. Well, a pretty high difficulty at the very least. I don't think I did that well with my accuracy, unfortunately enough. Yeah, as you can see, it's okay. It's okay, but it could have been, I think could have been better. Obviously, my typing speed was also a little bit on the slower side. But yeah, you could see here, we didn't get the #1, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. But we were close, as you can see. We were really, really close right there. Not too bad, not too bad. I actually beat my previous high score, so I'm happy with that, all things considered. And I definitely probably could have done a little bit better, but oh well, never mind. You get a good idea as to how the higher difficulty now looks, and bear in mind, this is the first level in the entire game. So if you're someone that's really good at typing or you just want a challenge, boom, give this game a go. It is really, really fun. And there's a link in the description if you want to check it out. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.